Hey guys, welcome back to Rides and Rigs. My name is Mike, and today we're going to rebuild a Weber 3236 carburetor. It's been on the car about 10 years now. The car has been sitting for the last 4 years or so. When we drug it out, it hasn't been running too hot. So we're going to get it off the car, bring it inside, put it on the bench that I did get cleaned off, and see if we can get this thing cleaned up a little bit and maybe get that car running right again. So I'm going to go pull that off real quick and we'll get it on the bench, see if we can get this thing worked. Okay, I guess I should clarify, I'm not doing a full proper rebuild on this. Really just looking to get this thing cleaned up so that it will run a little bit better. I'm not going to be disassembling the thing entirely, and I'm not going to soak all the parts in cleaner. Just looking to get it running properly again. This engine is not going to be in this car long term, so it's not super high priority at this point. I may actually end up running this carburetor on the boat because it came from the factory with a single barrel, and when I purchased the boat, the carburetor linkages and everything were locked up. I don't know that it's going to be easily repairable, so it may be easier for us to just swap this carburetor on there rather than trying to replace the one that's on there, since we know that we're not going to be using this carburetor forever. We have got some real junk in there. Definitely can see some water, probably not showing up on camera, but it looks like it's going to be relatively clean. Not really any corrosion inside the float bowl, so we might be okay there. We're going to remove the float assembly here. Just a quick pin coming out there. And the float with the needle comes out. I believe our kit does come with a new needle. Let's focus on the top half of the carburetor for right now. First thing we're going to do is remove this power valve diaphragm. Just 3 flathead screws hold this in here. Diaphragm doesn't look bad. Next, we're going to replace the needle seat here. Should be just a 10 millimeter. And it does have a small gasket on it. An aluminum crush washer. We're also going to remove the fuel inlet. There is a small filter in here that I'm not replacing because the rebuild kit did not come with one, but we will at least clean it out. Should be a mesh filter that we should be able to clean out pretty easily. Not looking too bad. We should be okay with that one. Okay, there's really not much to the top of this carburetor. I'm going to go ahead and take and clean this top half out, and we will return shortly. Okay, let's go ahead and get this top part put back together. We're not looking for a brand new factory finish. I'm okay with this thing looking a little used, because it is. Drop this filter back in. Make sure that it seats where it belongs. There's no gasket on this inlet screw. We'll install our needle seat. And finally, our power valve. And it does not take much torque on these screws, just enough to keep it snug. Now that we've got that installed, we can go ahead and put our float and needle assembly back in. The kit did come with a new pin. Adjust that float just a tiny bit. Perfect. Okay, that should do it for the top half. I'll bring the bottom back over here. Alright, now we'll remove the air corrector jets in the top surface here. I like to lay these out in the order that they came out. Now that we've got the air corrector jets out, we'll remove the main jets from the float bowl. Now we're removing the emulsifying tubes. Now we'll remove the idle jet. We'll also remove the accelerator pump jet. Now we'll remove the power valve from the bottom of the float bowl. And the accelerator diaphragm from the side of the float bowl. Okay, now that we've got all the jets and accessories cleaned up over there, I'm going to go ahead and spend some time on the main body of the carburetor here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cleaned up, and we'll be right back with you. Well, I certainly wouldn't say that it was perfect, but I will say that it's better. Sometimes that's all we can ask for. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing put back together. We'll just start here and work our way back. So these are going to be the main jets going in first. Now our air corrector jets and the emulsion tubes. Like everything else, these really don't have to be that tight, just snug enough to keep them in place. We'll put our power valve back in with a new gasket, of course. Our accelerator pump jet. Our progression jet going back in. Our idle jet going back in. Now we'll put our new accelerator pump diaphragm. We've got the diaphragm started on all 4 of these screws. We'll just tighten them down a little bit at a time. Make sure that it goes in nice and evenly and doesn't stretch or tear. Now we can put our carburetor body gasket on, and we'll top the carburetor with the top half, making sure that the gasket seats properly. Now we can go ahead and insert the 6 screws that hold the 2 halves together. We'll check all of these one last time. And we should be ready to go right back on the car. Well, had her on the charger for a little while now, so let's give her a little bit of the juice and see if she'll fire up for us. Check and make sure we've got good fuel pressure here. I've got to say, I'm curious how many of you guys caught the really dumb thing that I just did. Let me know in the comments if you saw it. Alright guys, this has turned into less of a carburetor rebuild and more of a will it start. I did go and get a little bit of fresh gas for it and cycled it through the line, so we're going to see maybe if it will start now. The 4-year-old gas, I think, was definitely causing some issues. Well, unfortunately, we couldn't get that car running properly today. I'm going to have to go through the timing and make sure that it didn't slip or jump a tooth, and make sure that our ignition timing is on properly. I'm not going to put too much effort into this engine because I already know that it's getting swapped. Although, I really would like to drive the car again. It's been quite a while since I've been able to drive it. I do plan to come back to this project, so keep your eyes peeled for another episode in this series where we get this car running and maybe take it for a drive. I think that's going to do it for today's episode. If you like this content and would like to see more, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. And if you want to tell me how I'm doing, be sure to leave a like and a comment. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.